what I encourage most people that I coach, counsel, or mentor is take the past leadership that you saw that you enjoyed, take it, tweak it, make it better, move forward. And if you experienced a bad leader, do the opposite because you know how it made you feel. I still find it ironic that when you go into a store right now, there's hundreds and hundreds of books on leadership, and it's not that hard.
Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelak. Thank you for listening to the show. I would love if you could give us your opinion on how you felt about the show, your experience that you have in regards to what we've been talking about. I am having an absolute blast, but your input is like dynamite on that explosion. So give us your input. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions, comments, concerns? Give us everything you got. We love it. Thanks. I hope you're having an awesome day. Welcome to the Business Ownership Podcast, brought to you by Awareness Strategies, helping you navigate the waters between entrepreneurship and ownership. Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelak, and I'm super glad that you're here with us today because I'm here with my most amazing guest, Doug. Doug, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Well, thanks for having me. I really love the opportunity. I've been a longtime fan of your show, and we've connected through a mutual friend. So I'm really excited to making you a mutual friend as well.
Oh, thanks. That is awesome. I love this job for that. This is the best way to get to connect with awesome people. But less about me, more about you. Give everybody the highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
Okay, well, I'm 57. I'm a retired police officer from Southern Ontario. Past 8 years, I've been teaching leadership. I've been a strength and conditioning coach for the Guelph Storm for 28 years. I just retired from that. So I've trained a lot of current players that are in the NHL. I played university football and I wrestled myself at a national level once upon a time. So leadership coach, counselor, mentor of youth. My favorite charity is Special Olympics. And most recently, I had a book that came out last year called Finding Your Granite. And 100% of the proceeds went to a charity called Veterans and Everyday Heroes, where we buy service dogs for our wounded frontline workers.
Oh, that is awesome. Yes. And for those who don't know, Guelph is kind of a hot spot for Canadian NHL players for some reason.
Yeah.
I love it. So let's get into the leadership aspect of things. To me, it sounds obvious, having worked in the Ontario Police, but how did you find leadership as your hotspot?
I've had about 36 years in law enforcement. I've seen some incredible leaders. I've followed some incredible leaders, but I've also had some really, really bad ones. When I looked at some of my sporting experiences as an athlete and coaching as well, there seems to be unilaterally a lack of proper leadership through business, through all aspects of life, that it's kind of become a hobby of mine and almost an obsession of what makes us good leaders. And, one of the basic things is if you're not a good follower, generally you're not going to be a good leader. So last year I did the personal bio book just to talk about some of the trials, tribulations that I went through. I suffered a horrific post-traumatic stress injury in 2007, where I contemplated taking my life. And as a result of some incredible counseling, I was able to find myself out of that darkness and create a path. And my whole goal now is to create a path for other people suffering in darkness or give someone a different perspective from all the different spheres of leadership that I bring forward. I want to help young emerging leaders, generate followers, but even some people my age, we need to take a step back and realize that from 2000 to 2020, there was quite the leadership development in the world, but we've got to take some time with the COVID reset and make our game better as we move forward.
Nice. I love it. So some people think that being a good leader is, fear dominated, people stop in the hall and tighten up and stress. That's a sign of good leadership. So what is your definition of good leadership?
For me, basically, it's someone who can generate followers, and that's based on authenticity. It's based on your core values, and it's based on getting out and speaking with people. I really get mad when someone says, well, I'm going to go talk to someone. Well, talking to someone is a one-way dialogue, but we really need to get out there, let people know our core values, because at the end of the day, if you're a leader, you have to generate some trust. People are not going to trust you if you yell at them, scream at them, berate them, and treat them like garbage. They want to know who you were, where you came from, basically who you are, and who you want to be moving forward. And collectively, if someone can find a reason to jump on your bandwagon of leadership and they can benefit from that for their own personal goals as well, you're going to be successful. So we've got to really open it up, and gone are the days where shut up and put up and do whatever I told you. Leadership is about honesty, integrity, passion, accountability, and being there and working with people.
Nice. And do you find that it's just because it's trendy to do that, or are there actual business results that people get because of their strength and leadership, the way you're teaching them?
What I've seen in the past, some things were good. What I encourage most people that I coach, counsel, or mentor is take the past leadership that you saw that you enjoyed, take it, tweak it, make it better, move forward. And if you experienced a bad leader, do the opposite because you know how it made you feel. I still find it ironic that when you go into a store right now, there are so many, there's hundreds and hundreds of books on leadership, and it's not that hard. But everyone packages it their own way. But the bottom line is you've got to get out there, find out what motivates other people, make sure that your goals and objectives are in line, and together you can move forward and succeed. And still to this day, I see so many deficiencies in leadership that let's use the COVID reset as a way that we find a new way to move forward.
Well, and I know in our business, when we were looking for people, we were looking for people who were self-taught because we found that they had an inbred initiative to go and figure out problems. They were like a dog with a bone. It's like, okay, go run. You'll do awesome. But not everybody can manage that kind of chaos and mayhem. I'm a huge fan of it myself because I find a lot gets done in it. But when it comes to kind of finding your leadership style and the nuance between, and we have to get this work done, and do you notice kind of that there's different personality types playing in different cultures? What do you see are the entry points for leadership?
Well, the first point that I see a lot of us as leaders fail people is we don't get them on proper performance evaluations. We don't tell them what they're doing well. We don't tell them where they need to improve themselves. Then one day they write a test, they do really well on the test, and all of a sudden, boom, you're a leader. Now go lead. But we don't give them the tools to do that. You know, whether you're a police officer where they give you the gun for the first time, whether you want to play in the NHL, they give you a hockey stick. You can't just give people tools of the job and not teach them how to use them. I see you, Leonard, through most leadership. Mentorships are a checkbox, but they never become reality. If you're going to mentor someone, you've got to take someone for a year or so, teach them the mistakes that you made, let them know how you navigated through that, get them to do tasks, empower them to do things so they themselves can make mistakes, but you're there as a safety net to make sure it's not critical. I see too often people write a good test, boom, you're a leader. And you set people up to fail. The other side of it is you're really good at sales, you're really good at policing, you're really good at something. Just because you're a great subject matter expert at doing a task doesn't now mean, oh, let's make them lead that task. And again, I think we're putting people in situations where they're destined to fail because we don't give them the tools. We don't teach them about leadership. We don't talk about emotional, the EQ, the IQ, and now the AI piece that's coming through. We've got to mentor people greater and move forward. And I was just talking to my father-in-law who is with the RCMP, and we both agreed that we've got to, through his law enforcement career and through mine, we do very poorly at training who's going to take our job. So that once we retire from law enforcement, who moves up next? If we don't take those steps to teach people of what is expected of them and move forward, then we failed them because we're asking them something they have no concept of what to do.
I love it. So to me, this applies for entrepreneurs that are founding their businesses, not only when they have a leadership or middle management in place, but to start before then and look at the techs that are actually doing the work, whether it's sales, whatever, and being able to do that. When do you find is best time to plant a tree, best time to get into this and start figuring it out for themselves? How do I as leader create other leaders?
At one point in someone's career, they get a certain level of competency and they really feel good about themselves and they might think, hey, I can do that and move forward. What I would challenge them to do, and a lot of the clients that I work with and I mentor them, is like, that's fine that you want to do something, but let's put that want into practice. So I went back to university, to Cornell University at about the 23 year of my policing career. I knew that one day I had an expiry date. I wanted to lead beyond that. So I went to school. I got some great academic foundation, got my executive leadership through Cornell University, but boom, it wasn't done then. Then I went and I talked to some friends that I had grown up through university that were business leaders. Another one was in government. Another one was in policing. And I asked them to mentor me. And it was an amazing process where I learned from them, from their mistakes and moving forward. So as a young business entrepreneur, once you get that taste of where you want to go next, make sure you got the academic standing that you can fall back on, almost like your granite, but then actively seek some type of a coach, counselor, mentor, just to walk you through it. If you have to pay for it, at the end of the day, you're investing in yourself academically, but that gives you the foundational piece of knowledge. Invest in that coaching mentorship and get some people and the best of the best. There's an old saying that they say that you should only surround yourself with people that are better than you. Well, that's a great opportunity for you to get a mentor or a coach that you might have to pay for it, but the lessons you get are going to be greater than what you see in your textbooks.
I love it. So you had mentioned in there granite. What do you mean by that, and what is that foundation?
For me, it's all about falling back to your safe place or through your level-headed spot. As I said, when I was in the pit of darkness, I was looking it's almost envision a room. I'm looking for a light switch on the wall, and as I'm going around this room mentally, I can't find the light switch. What my counselor taught me and subsequent coaches have taught me is the light isn't found on the wall, it's found within ourselves. And for me, I found, and I was able to qualify, that honor, integrity, passion, and accountability are my granite. So that if I go into a situation, even after this podcast, and you say, well, I really don't like Doug, what I will guarantee you that I'll treat you with honor, which means you do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. I will teach you with, or deal with you with integrity. I will deal with passion and accountability. So as our fallback, even if you go into situations that you're not meant to learn, because in life, we're not meant to win everything. Sometimes we're meant to fail so we can learn from that. If we can always fall back to our granite, and in self-reflection, I can say honor, integrity, passion, accountability, you're never truly going to lose. You just weren't meant to win that opportunity. But then you also have to say, as part of that granite, what was I meant to learn here? And really reflect from that mistake, turn it around, and make it a success moving forward.
Nice. So when you're working with your clients, who would you say is either your ideal client, or who comes to you the most often?
The people that I find are somewhat difficult are 58-year-old men like myself. Our pride, our pride and ego get in the way sometimes, and that's one thing that I've always been able to reflect. And I really don't like anyone that comes back and says, well, we've always done it that way. Well, when you say you've always done it that way, tells me you don't have the ability or the desire to learn and move forward. And sometimes if I've gone through interview processes with clients and they don't want to relieve themselves of that comment, I'll say, I don't want your business, because you've already made up your mind. And they always say that people hate change, but we hate when things stay the same. You want to find those innovative leaders that really want to make a difference. And those are the ones that I really like to work with. I've had a lot of great success with female entrepreneurs, because again, I'm bringing a different perspective in it. And it's from a different scope that, sadly, in a lot of business, it's dominated by males. But if I can qualify what those guys are thinking about and help translate that and make it an actionable goal for some of my female clients, they get to know and basically almost like watch film on the people they're going to be competing with, know their tendencies, know their desires, and know how to better approach it so they can be successful.
Nice. On that note, do you see a reason why there are so few women in leadership roles?
I am the father of a 27-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old daughter. And even at this generation and at this time now, we are not developing our leaders properly, especially with our females. We've got to stop and strip it away and empower females more, to give them those opportunities, to give them the coaching, the counseling, the mentoring, encourage them. And, you know, as an old guy, as I would say, you want to look at your leaders and make sure that when you're recruiting and identifying the next leaders to come up in your organization, that you look at diversity, you look at equity, you look at inclusion, and start to handpick some of those folks. But don't always do guy picks guy, because you're going to fail yourself, you're going to fail your organization, and you're going to miss out on a lot of phenomenal DEI candidates that are going to go see you and go to another organization and make a lot of money for them.
When it comes to business and sports and military, I see a lot of differences in those. Do you see a lot of differences in those, or does it tend to be kind of the same aspects?
For me, I like to kind of bring it into one. And I look at it this way. Can you lead in a casual situation? You know, whether you're police, fire, military, business, when times are easy, can you lead? And then flip it around. When times are tough, can you lead? And what I like to do is bring those different spheres of influence that I have so that we can tabletop those situations and say, okay, this is what you did when times were good. What made you successful? What would you like to change? What would you like to do better next time? But even when you debrief an emergent situation, whether it's business, whether it's sport, again, the same thought processes and the same templates hold true, that, okay, we didn't, it was a very critical situation. What did we do well? Great. Let's duplicate it next time. What didn't we do so well? Well, what do we need to do next time to make us do that well? And what didn't we like to do? Can we scrap that? Can we tweak it, make it better? But again, it's that whole reflective template that we can put on, because at the end of the day, you're leading for a purpose, whether it's dollars, whether it's arrests, whether it's a combat zone or whatever. Leading is about obtaining an objective. And is, you know, in the Canadian military, they say leadership is about getting people that don't want to do something to do it and like it. And we can apply that type of a methodology to all different spheres of leadership and be successful.
Well, and I'm loving this conversation, because I talk to a lot of business leaders, and they're like, yeah, but I need them to do it right, because if they don't do it right, we lose business, which doesn't seem very critical when you compare it to talking to police officers going into SWAT or fire departments going into fires. Like, yeah, if they don't do it right, somebody's going to die. So and they still can't have that Machiavellian kind of, you need to do this now sort of thing, unless it is directive. And so you need to grab that and you need to go over there now. So how do you help the leaders kind of just sit back, chill out, and realize, nobody's going to die over bad marketing?
Yeah.
We can, if we can get somebody to not like military and go and do their job really well, then obviously we can do it in a corporate situation too.
For the business leaders, my first question is, did you give them the tools and the skill sets to accomplish what you wanted? And a lot of time it's no. Well, they should have, they would have. Well, you can woulda, shoulda, coulda yourself into bankruptcy. And again, that's where leaders have to sit there. And again, sometimes I find that leaders, because they're really good at something, once they get to that leadership role, they still think about the me. And that's wrong. Once you become promoted and you're in a leadership role, you no longer think about me, you think about we. And the higher you get up on the pyramid of your organization, you go from me gets promoted to think about we, then we gets promoted to think about us. And a lot of times when we promote people, we forget that they still need the tools and the skills and the training at each level to get up there. And that's where you find the difference between a good business and a bad business. It's like a house of cards. If you've got good steel cards that get you up to that pyramid, it's going to withstand any wind that's going to come by. But if you build it up, it's going to work for a little while. But eventually, when a strong wind comes down with those paper cards, it's going to fall down. And sadly, in business, that could be your livelihood. It could be the livelihood of thousands of employees as well.
I am loving this conversation. In a moment, I'm going to ask you about a Cinderella story of one of your clients. And before I do that, we're going to pause for one.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.
So I am super stoked. Give us an example of one of your Cinderella stories, one of your clients.
One of my favorite stories, and I'm allowed to use his real name. His name is Scotty Rasso. In my chapter on my first book, Finding Your Granite, I have a chapter called No Means Next Opportunity. And I've found a lot in life that when someone, and I just say, as we go through our day, every good deed or every positive thing we do, it's almost like building a garden pathway with stones. Sometimes when we go through that garden and we do the stone after the stone after the stone, we get this big tree in front of us and we look at it and go, I can't move forward. And you look up at that tree and you go, my God, it's a 50-foot tree. But instead of going, oh, we're going to shut it down and move, take 1 or 2 steps back to positivity, take a step to the right and see the tree is only 3 feet wide and walk around it. So Scotty came to me about 12 years ago. He was 425 pounds. The doctor told him that if he didn't do something, he was going to be dead by the time he was 40. Scotty was single. Scotty always wanted to get married. Scotty wanted to be a father one day. Basically, he was eating himself to death. We talked, we worked through it. We got into a situation that we helped him find a little bit of his own granite. He went to the bariatric clinic. They told me he had to lose 100 pounds so that he'd be available for the surgery. He then went and lost the 100 pounds and he had the surgery. Now, this guy was 325 pounds after the surgery. He was alone. He had no girlfriend. He had no children, and he hated himself. He is now 220 pounds. He's a fitness instructor. He's from CanFit. He's a lifeguard. He teaches swimming. He teaches fitness. He has a new job, and his daughter is 3 years old, and he's happily married. So it was one of those things that I saw these amazing traits in Scotty. He just didn't see him himself. But that's kind of the bigger picture. As coaches, counselors, mentors, you finalize and you pick those few things that will make that person do well, and you move forward. 2 weeks ago, Scotty was at work. We're downsizing. See you later. He called me again. And he's like, Doug, what do we do? Let's go back to our basics. Let's find our granite. We found the granite. Now he's got a better job than he had. He's learned so much more about himself. And again, it was just so nice that initially we had the big no means next opportunity, But in the end, he goes, Doug, no means next opportunity. Let's go for it. Now he's got a job that they're talking management. They're talking about expanding to 3 stores and giving him it's just a wonderful story. But, as a Cinderella story, Scotty did it himself. I was just his tour guide on the roadmap of life.
I love it. I personally have always found that every time I got fired from a job, it was a welcome opportunity.
Yeah, it's true.
That's awesome. So I know our audience is going to want more from you. How did they start that journey with you?
The best thing they can do is reach out through my website, riseupandexcel.ca. They can get a hold of me on Instagram. It's just ironwill, the number 360. If you go on Amazon, I do have my book that came out last year, Finding Your Granite, My 4 Cornerstones of Personal Leadership. We've sold over 600 copies. What I would request, and Amazon will be mad, I only get 8% of the profit back. But when I sell them personally through my website, I get to give 100%, which is 30% of the profit back. So it really maximizes my ability to help the charity. Last year, we gave them over $6,000. But come this August, I've got a new book coming out. It's called Iron Will 360-Degree Leadership Moving Forward, Unlocking 12 Emerging Trends for the Forward-Thinking Leaders. We're going to look, and I use, when we were locked down for COVID, a lot of people thought that was a bad thing. I wrote the other book during COVID, but I went back to school. I started to study. I started to learn more about myself. I went and got a small little HR certificate from McMaster University. But let's use all of that time that we were locked down to we get rid of the bad and we start to be progressive moving forward. The book talks about AI in leadership. It talks about human-centric. It talks about holistic leadership. It talks about honesty, integrity, passion. It's the leadership that we need to be successful moving forward. I've had 3 or 4 people from businesses that have reviewed the book. My editor through CRC Press is extremely excited. They say that this book could be the next book to help all leaders and all spheres of influence moving forward. Each chapter starts with my thoughts on the subject. Then we get into some academic research. And at the end, I give at the end of every chapter, there's a to-do list that at the least you can go through it. It'll give you 10 points per chapter that hopefully you can use that to be successful, find your own granite, and be very successful moving forward.
I love it. Yes, one of my, as weird as this sounds, my favorite aspect of the lockdown was the compassion that we started to have for each other. Previous to that, it was you're at work, this is the image you have. And then when we had little kids and dogs coming into every meeting, it was like you just started to notice the humanity everywhere. And I love that. And I want to desperately keep that compassion alive because some people are having a really hard time still getting through things and we don't know what they went through during that time. And I think it's just important to keep that in mind, especially when it comes to building your teams, because oftentimes the ones that had the hardest time, that have a good mentor, become the strongest force to deal with. So I think your book is awesome. I love it and can't wait for people to see it. So give us your website again. We will, of course, peeps, have all of Doug's links in the show notes. So you scroll down, click on the link, open up on a new browser, because of course we're not done yet.
The website is riseupandexcel.ca. Instagram is ironwill360, and you can get me through Twitter at ironwill360. And again, on the website, it's a contact me now. I've got a blog post that comes out every once in a while. So I really look forward to people reaching out. And as I say, if they're interested in finding your granite, please email me directly. I will personally autograph it. I'll send you a copy, but know that we'll be able to give 30% of the sale of the book to the charity versus the 8% through Amazon.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So Doug, I get to ask you, at what point in life did you know you were special kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
When I was young, I was very, very ill. And in the first chapter of the book, I was 2 weeks old. My parents were told, say goodbye. I had some gastrointestinal stuff. I had surgery. It was back in 1966, and they were told that I was going to die. Then at 3 years of age, I got a blood disease that was kind of a cross between hemophilia and leukemia. Again, the doctors told my parents to say goodbye because I was going to die. I believe at that point, the seeds of leadership were planted in me and the resiliency that I have today. As I move forward, I go back to grade 12. I was captain of the high school football team, wrestling team. And in grade 7 and 8, my teachers would call me Fatty Pflug. I was a piece of welfare trash and I'd never amount to anything. Instead of getting that to shut me down, I used that to motivate me. And I did, as I said, in grade 12, football, wrestling, track captain. I became the me that I am today. But I had a special friend. His name was Ram Tumpker. And this is where the leadership really literally kicked me in the groin and dropped me to my knees. I was going to summer school, as I always did, for math. I was walking, so basically after my football practice, wrestling, track, I'd walk him to the bus stop because people were picking on him. He was of Middle Eastern descent. People were being stupid, but I thought there's no way that this guy's going to be victimized on my watch. I remember walking him to the bus stop by Wilfrid Laurier University in Waterloo, and he was like, Pflugger, I'm going to go see my grandmother. My sister and I are going to go see my grandmother, and I haven't seen her in all these years, and I'm so excited. When I get back, I'll come see you. Go to summer school, coming back, and back in the day, they would do, we want to interrupt this radio broadcast for some important news. I was sitting there. They said, we want to interrupt this broadcast. Flight Air India has been blown up going to Canada, and my best friend was blown up to smithereens. At that point, I dropped to my knees. I cried like you would not believe. The song Purple Rain from Prince was playing at the same time. So every time I hear that, but for me, I thought, whether you're Christian or not, I've been given some gifts. I have to use those. I have to advocate for people. I need to give a voice to someone silenced by bullying, as Ram has done. And I've got to use these life lessons for the betterment of others, whether you get paid or not. So I think that was the most defining time. I was 18 years of age. And at that point, I said, I'm going to be a cop because that would give me the best opportunity to go out there and help people en masse. And that's where I've retired, but I'm not going to stop working with this next book. I know that we're going to change the future. And I just want people to help me build a bandwagon to jump on and not wait 10 months down the road to jump onto it. Let's go out there, show some kindness, show some gratitude. Let's show some love to people and let people know that they matter. And right now, there's a lot of people struggling, as you talked about in COVID. They're looking to find their way out of darkness and they're still stuck in that room. Let's be the hand that shows them that they got to find the switch within themselves.
You have been absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Is there any last words for our peeps?
I just want to thank you. Leadership and the stuff that we're doing, we don't do it alone. It's in collection of anyone. If people want me to come and do some speaking fees, I don't mind doing everything for free. All I would ask is that you pay for my expenses to get there. This isn't a profit-driven thing for me at all. Pay for my expenses, and all I ask is you buy one copy of the book or both books for everyone in the audience, and I'll stick around as long as it takes to sign them to everybody. And again, this is not profit-driven for me. This is about putting my money where my mouth is and showing people how to walk the way of the change we need in the future. So please reach out if you want to speak an engagement. I'd be more than happy to work out the details with you and kind of dazzle you with this passion that I kind of was born with as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and I know how valuable it is.
Thank you.
Awesome. Peeps, this is Michelle Nedelec. Thank you for being here with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the show, share it with your friends. We love helping entrepreneurs grow.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.